YouTube family, what is up everyone? Let me be clear, this is not my gameplay. I don't have a class set up with the ICR right now, but after seeing what was going down here, I'm definitely going to give it another shot. This is actually my friend Obi Venom's gameplay. He did pretty well here, and then the second part of the video that you're going to see is the same game, just from my friend the show 815's perspective. So although you will see the Bressie, no, it is not me using it. It is one of my friends. These are two people from the main group that I pretty much play with every single night. And then although I had a decent game here with the Shiva, I felt like using my friends' gameplays here are really going to have an impact on the overall commentary. And y'all see how I will tie those things together closer to the end of the video. Now, keep in mind, this is just the main group of people that I roll with pretty much every night. But there's also another group that I roll with maybe 2 or 3 times a week. It really depends on how often they send me invites. But it's an extremely good group of players. All of them are Prestige Master, I think 200 to 400. All of them have win-loss ratios over 3. And that's really how you can tell which players are actually putting in work or which players are finding some weird glitch to make their statistics look really good. Because I've noticed that anytime I play somebody who's supposed to be Prestige Master, the Prestige Master 1000 players never play the full game ever. I'll go into a lobby, I'll see a Prestige Master 1K, and within 2 minutes I check the scoreboard and they are gone. So just be looking at those players that are kind of just hovering between like Prestige Master 100 to like 300. Those are the people who are putting in work. Those are the people who are actually having great games. But usually when we roll together, it's maybe 5 of them and then me as the 6th member. And often what happens is the game, which Black Ops 3 does a terrible job of lobby balancing, just period. But what it'll try to do is it'll try to put us up against other full parties, which, you know what, I don't really mind that. But what happens is, and what I think is so weird, is the fact that when other teams see that they're about to go up against a full squad of Prestige Masters, obviously not including me, they just back out. They don't even attempt to try and see how well they match up, or they don't even try to see if maybe all of these people in the squad just got to Prestige Master from doing nothing but playing Black Ops 3. It's like they don't even want to give it a shot and see how they match up against these other players. And I just think that's so weird. Like, I think that's crazy. Whenever I see a Prestige Master in my lobby, the first thing I do is say, man, I'm about to light these boys up. You know, I want to see if you're as good as you're supposed to be. I want to challenge myself. I want to see how I match up against you. I want to, you know, I don't want you to feel as good as you think you are. So I set my goal out to really, you know, killing anybody that I see as like super high ranked. And even when I know for a fact that I'm playing against, because a lot of times I get thrown in the lobbies with people that I've already played against, and I'll know that these players are good, I'll still want to go out there and whoop them. I mean, I just don't understand why people don't even want to at least challenge themselves. That's the only way you're ever going to get better. That's the only way you're ever going to be the best player that you can be, is by getting out here and challenging yourself against people that you think are, you know, talented, the people that you think are good at this game, the people that you know what, maybe you don't want to take a hit on your KD or your win-loss ratio. Going up against these guys, that's what's going to make you better as a player. And I'm going to do something I do often, which is make a parallel to fighting games. Because fighting games are really where I thrive. It's really where I actually do extremely well in. It's where I am most confident as a player. I'm good at fighting games. I'm not really good at first-person shooters. And when I get on Mortal Kombat, what Mortal Kombat X will do is it'll tell you what percentage of a chance it thinks you have against your opponent. And a lot of times when the game tells me that I have a 100% chance of beating my opponent, I often don't play that person. If it says 80%, I often don't play that person, because I feel like, what's the point? Like, every time you step out, every time you turn on your system, every time you start your application, you should be wanting to get better as a player. And I don't feel like I learn very much. I don't feel like I'm challenged very much when I'm beating someone that I know that I can beat. But boy, when that game tells me that I have a 0% chance of beating my opponent, boy, does that really elevates and pushes me to say, I'm about to go out and I'm about to beat this person. The games where it tells me that I have a 0% chance are often my best and funnest games. And I don't understand why no one else really wants to challenge themselves in that same way. YouTube family, these are the combat records for the two gentlemen that you just saw in this video. The Show 815 has a 1.07 KD and a 767,315 score. And then we have OB Venom with a 1.15 KD and a 1.5 million score. Now, the reason why I use these gameplays and chose to show these statistics is because you should always want to challenge yourself against people that you feel like will push you to the next level. People that you feel like, you know what, maybe you'll have to sacrifice your KD or your win-loss ratio just to see how you match up against players that you think are good. But at the same time, sometimes it's cool to just drop these statistics and just play the game. Because while you're worried about prestige masters beating you, average players who just know how to work together can also whoop your ass too.